folks. Welcome back to PEG Wrestling, baby. We are here. We're recapping. That's right, folks. We're here. We're live. We're live.
What a glorious evening it was last night.
We're live.
It was glorious.
And we're recapping Penn State, Iowa. It was the Super Bowl, folks.
Wow.
The dual meet of the year. We're talking about it. We're going to recap every single weight class, every single piece of action that really happened last night. And there was a lot of that, dude. There really was a lot. Every single weight class almost had a storyline. And, boy, I wanted to start it off with a post-match presser. But, folks, listen, before we really get dive in, let's get started. Like and subscribe. We got to let's start practicing that. Let's start practicing that. Like and subscribe. Also, check out USA Takedown Radio, dude. We're going to start revealing their guests every week here going forward. But also Wrestle Matness. And, folks, if you were not joined in on Wrestle Matness for this dual meet, you really, really missed out on some fun action. And as I asked our, boy, that's a long song, isn't it? Dang, going. As I asked our Facebook group, listen, have you guys ever watched Animal Channel? You know what I mean? And they said, no. What are you talking about, Mr. Beaver? And I said, well, I have. And, you know, in the jungle, every once in a while, there's always the king tiger of the jungle, okay? And he, you know, surprisingly so, he doesn't really mess with the other animals. He doesn't eat them. You would think he's going around eating all the other animals all the time, every day. Yeah. Surprisingly, that's not how it works in the jungle. He actually pretty much lays low, keeps his cool, keeps his distance, but every once in a while, there's hyenas and coyotes running around and mess with him, dude. And every once in a while, that tiger's got to wake up, and he's got to let everybody know who's the king of the jungle. And what did you just do on Wrestle Madness? You reminded everyone who the king of the jungle is here.
I know. And the fact is, what happened, folks, was, you know, I won a madness contest. It was the first War Picks, and I was number one out of 111. And my wife got sick and tired of me talking about it, and I was so happy. And then I went into a slump, and I got reminded, oh, you just got a little lucky there, Mr. Wayne, Mr. Truck Driver. You got a little lucky. And I thought, oh, at least I got one win. Well, if I got to put together the perfect evening, of course, the most important to me was, I wanted action. I didn't want a match like I said the last time. I didn't want a match like 2 years ago with Iowa and Penn State, and they're both playing defense.
Correct.
I felt like this was a lot of action. Did you feel that way?
I felt like it did live up to expectations.
Yes,
as far as
I
action.
absolutely did. It was a great, entertaining duel. So that was number one. That got fulfilled. Number two, of course, I wanted Penn State to win, and how they won. Oh, it was so glorious. I loved it. And then to make the fact that our preview show, every one of my picks, I was actually right. And even some stuff that you said, you know, we got some criticism about you guys are loony. You guys are wacko. You think Angelo can even hang with Carter or something?
Look, I got him. I'm showing him right now.
Yeah.
A lot of Facebook comments saying we were loony. Zach, what are you smoking, Zach? A lot of people, what are you smoking? Okay. You know what? I can fair game say that right back at you. What do you got smoking?
Bam. And I'll tell you, the thing is no, we're not geniuses. Anyone that loves wrestling can see that we're talking about a big dog here in Angelo Ferrari. Now, I'll tell you why Penn State, we're going all out of whack, out of order.
You're going
already.
out of line.
But I gotta say this because it's on the tip of my tongue.
Intro. Tighten up your intro, dude.
Look, Penn State, we got the best of both worlds because we got to pin a loss on a kid that, I'm going to say this, and we'll take heat over this statement. This may be another four-timer. This obviously is a big dog coming, and he may not end up very many losses. He might end up with just one loss on his record all time. Guess who pinned it on him? And now part two of that I like is, okay, Tom, and you'll get into this, basically admitted that Angelo is getting redshirted. Now we get to see what we've all been waiting for, the Gabe Arnold versus Carter. If Gabe can...
we get the best of both worlds now.
Yes,
yes. So
absolutely.
Really, dude, as a fan, we got what we wanted, really.
Well, anyway, to the fact that all the picks in our preview was right, and some stuff that we said was right. Picks. And like you picking Angelo, it sounded crazy. I'll admit, when you're talking about a four-timer and a freshman.
Read it on the screen, folks.
Yeah, it's like.
But, dude, I'm telling you right now, dude, I'm seeing things in wrestling. I'm seeing clearly. Right now, and I read that right. Did I not? I read that right, dude.
Well, yeah, and it was a good take. And every one of our takes, I even said I didn't think Ayala would go, but if Ayala goes, I'm giving him the win. Of course, I'll have some criticism when we get to the weights. I won't get into everything right now, but I got to tell you, as perfect as that whole night went, the preview turned out good, because a lot of times, let's just be honest, folks, we're kind of just guessing here. We don't know. We don't know how things are going to go. But you kind of want to have a little credibility. Once in a while, you want things to go right. Well, sure enough, not only did that match turn out the way I wanted, it matched the preview, everything, all the stars aligned. Bam! I win matness. The Iowa Penn State matness. Now, if you said, which matness do you want to win the most? Of course, it's going to be nationals. Number 2 for me is the Penn State Iowa duel. So was I happy? Oh, I was walking. I was walking on air last night. I couldn't even get to sleep. I can't even believe I'm here. Now, there's only one reason I am here, and you notice I'm doing a great job of selling for Madness right now, because I'm going to end up with a whole bunch of people wanting to play now to shut this guy up. I'm here. Where's the preview? Oh, I'm hearing about how great you are. Well, look how great he is. Well, here we had the Cliff Keen doubleheader. And it was there was a guy out of 165 people that won it. He got that number 1 seat. This is separate from everything I just talked about. Guess who won that, Zach? Guess who won that? That's right. That's right. And I'm no Kristen Piles. Well, I get a couple wins and I run off. You never see me again. That's not me.
Oh,
I'm here.
Christian Piles. Yes, where are you?
I'm here. Piles? Come and you can't handle this.
I still owe Jason Bryan a couple eggs in the face. Jason Bryan, I've not forgot about that. I'm going to give you those eggs in the face.
That's right. Are we doing that tonight?
No. But we are gonna,
there went our credibility.
Listen, we are going to break down this duel, folks. And here it is, dude. We got the entire duel meet results here. Because there was a lot. And, I mean, unless, I don't know. Well,
the fact that I won that Cliff Keen doubleheader, it perked me right back up, and I thought, I'm driving to China, down there at Zach's house. That's what it feels like.
To tell us all that you won. Yeah, I know.
You know what your brother said?
We're all very proud.
Your brother said, can you tell me the difference, Dad? You posting on Facebook about your wins or AJ's split? How are they any different? For a while, I was kind of shut up there. I thought.
Or how about maybe the Kazak Flex? Or maybe the Kazak Flex, which one was better now? Throw that in the argument now, because if that wasn't, as Baby Brands just commented, better than like Max Dean making Jacob Warner cry at Carver. Oh my goodness, Baby Brands, he's a wild card dude.
I like.
We got wild card fans.
He's got great stuff. Baby
sometimes
Brands.
I should.
Yeah, he'll blast me once in a while. That's okay. I'm starting to get a little tougher skin.
We love it.
I'm getting blasted, called idiot. Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah. And before we get into I appreciate all the blasting, and bring on more blasting, folks, because someone said, or at least to me, you sent me a comment, said someone was like apologizing, saying I was all hurt. And hold up, dude. No, whoa, no. Let's go. I always double down.
I'll give Zach credit. He's got a tough skin. And I wish I could be more like you, Zach. I don't have that. I don't have what you have.
I tell you not to
I'm
read the
Mr.
comments.
Sensitive over here.
I tell you not to read them, but
Now, the other day, I was a lot of idiots were flying around. Idiot, loony, wacko. And I'm thinking, oh, man, I don't know. I was just a little down. And then here comes a comment from Tony Johnson, 4269. He says, the old man knows his stats and knows wrestling. So many other shows are just stat guys, but don't know wrestling. Good show, fellas. Boom! That did it for me, Zach.
That did it for
all
you.
of a sudden, all my little crying
folks,
and aching
if you don't
and
think
whining.
your comments matter.
It was over. I
If
felt
you
good
don't think they
again.
matter, that's
Thank you, Tony
probably
Johnson.
especially the bad ones. But all right, dude, let's get into it. All right,
Okay.
let's start at 125 where they started because it was Luke Lillendahl, Luke Lightning,
Boom!
Lil Edo. We
Yeah.
took that L out, did we not?
Yeah, it's
we took
Little
that L
Adol.
out, folks.
It
'cause-
is Little Adol. Yeah.
Wow, I was pretty sure he must have watched the show and got a little perturbed because
Well, that's the thing we don't know. We don't know. Maybe he did.
the
Maybe
way
he
he
did.
wrestled, I thought the first thing that came to my brain is like, daggone it, you. Because you made him mad. And he went out there with a fire under his rear end, dude. And
Oh,
Luke,
dude.
looked good.
Well,
we're going to give him that lightning.
I have a
nickname back.
question here towards the end. I may call and ask him live on air, Terry. But Terry mentioned something about this first match that just stuck with me. Of course, I'm mulling over what should I pick when my match is coming up quick, and he's not afraid to shoot. And Terry mentioned the fact that he's going to shoot is going to open Little Doll up.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my goodness, he's right.
But in fact, was it even that, though? Because
No,
Luke shot.
Yeah, Luke went. And
Luke-
yeah. And that's where you have to think, we were joking around about not shooting. It had nothing to do with us. You know the coaches were saying, dude, son, did you forget the gifts that...
Did you hear those BET
have-
boys mocking you, misspelling your name now with throwing an N in there for no shot? You better go out there. And yeah. I mean,
Wow.
that's what I would have said, but dude, okay, I think he's back in champion contender category, right?
And that kind of shows you just the fine line between being a real champion contender and not. And that is being in that right frame, because that was a different Luke Lillidahl than the match before.
That was a
Admit it.
fired up Luke.
It was,
and,
yes.
I mean,
It wasn't that big a difference between Peterson and Cruz. In fact, I think if Peterson and Cruz wrestled, it'd be fairly close. I would guess it to be a regular decision.
can I also say shout out to just Penn State crowd, because I thought the environment
Yes.
was pretty fire.
Yes,
That
you
environment in Penn State was
Yes.
pretty fire, folks.
Wow.
They got lights, they got
Wow.
video boards going.
Maybe a couple of them heard BEG.
They had
us play-
they had recruits in the stands, and Kale said, "Dude, we got these stupid
About time.
knocking podcasters knocking us. Well, the one guy's knocking us in, and all of a sudden we might lose a recruit. We got to get video boards in here. Let's get smoke,
Oh, my
lights.
goodness.
It was fire. Credit Penn State.
Zach, I was putting myself in the shoes of like the announcers and stuff right before the match, and the match was coming up. We're 5 minutes out. Zach, I was like,
You were nervous.
I was like a mental patient, just bubbling up, energy wanted to come out. I waited all year for this.
You were so nerved up. Matness wanted us to do a live stream, like a Manning cast during the match.
Probably
You
would have been a
declined.
good idea.
You declined.
I know it
Out of
probably.
nerves. I wanted to do an instant reaction live immediately after the match. You declined to even come down here. You
Oh.
isolated yourself like a little cocoon over there, because when it really comes down to these biggest matches, dude, you need
it
to
was
be
me.
isolated.
It was me, the wife, and the dog. But it wasn't the dog because I scared the dog. He was in the back room. That's the truth.
I know.
Yeah, he
I've
didn't.
experienced
He didn't
these
hang with
matches
us.
you. Yeah,
And
I know. But all right.
okay, Luke.
Shout out. Okay. Not it's props or touche. Now I'm losing words here. Kudos Penn State crowd, and kudos Luke Lillendahl at
Yes.
125. But we got to move on to 133.
Well,
here.
let me just say one final thing for 25, and that is, Yes, Ramos is number 1 ranked, and yes, he has been doing great and all that stuff. There is no doubt whatsoever Luke is in that picture. If he's wrestling his best, and if he's in the best mindset that and we have nothing but about a dozen years of history to tell us, yes, he will be. Luke is definitely in the conversation. This could be a national champ.
Oh, now all of a sudden I'm very intrigued for that match. Ramos and Luke, but
wow.
I mean, Sean Hardy commented, "Does everyone still think Iowa is second best in the country?" It's a great question after this duel. You know, I did even mention I'm wearing black and blue, folks.
See,
I'm wearing black and blue because we're black and blue in Iowa.
Yeah, and you have to be a very special person to be a Muhammad Ali kind that talks. And we'll get into Gabe Arnold with the talk and how much we love that and all that stuff. But even Peterson came out with faster than lightning, Penn State, the little stuff. Look, unless you are absolutely 100% certain that you have everything it takes, he can't touch you, I'm not sure if I'm giving him any fuel. But, I mean, you got to live up to the heat. When you spit out the heat's coming. Now, that's why so many of us admired Ali back in our day, and this would be pre-you, but back in the day when I watched pretty much every single highlight and fight that he's ever was
had,
a special dude because he could talk the talk, he could walk the walk, and quite frankly, I sound like I'm talking about Carter Strachey here.
I was gonna say,
okay.
But we'll get into it. Let's keep it in line. My goodness, dude, keep it in line. Let's move on. It's 133.
Okay. All right.
You know, by the way, that's everything aside, fighting alone. That's also what made Conor McGregor great. But
yes, absolutely.
133. Talking about showing up for big fights. Yeah. Boy, oh boy, everyone giving Gabe Arnold a hard time. Where was Braden Davis?
Okay.
Where?
This is the part where I start to make the Penn State people mad. Because I'm going to call it just as I see it. Kale was saving seed. You don't know that. He could have got really hurt. He could have been hurt. No, come on. Really? Really? If they would have went with our suggestion of nothing but wins count for seeding with nationals, how much you want to bet Braden Davis would have been wrestling? Now, this is a dangerous game to play. And Tom plays this game and actually played it, we'll talk about later, at 84. He played actually at 74 and 84. But you're also showing a neon sign to a kid. Here's the two sides. What's best for me? What's best for this team? He's not going to take this loss. Braden Davis is not going to take this loss. And that means he'll be seated a little higher. And that means his path might be a little easier to get as high as possible. This is all good. However, now let's just assume that he's hurt, but I could have went. This is what I'm presuming, and this is the part I don't know. But that's, for a second, for me to make this argument, let's assume he could have went, but he didn't, because let's get him healed up. You're also sending a message to Braden Davis. I don't believe you can actually beat Ayala.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I don't believe you can beat Ayala. So this serves the team, serves me, and everything by me sitting you. But the one person it didn't serve is the big picture as far as Braden Davis. It didn't serve that big picture because in his head, you got to be thinking, am I wrong? In his head, he's got to be thinking,
I'll give you credit.
You didn't
you
think I could beat
Ayala?
Ayala?
You've given that exact same criticism to other teams in the past, so I'll give you credit for giving it to Penn State.
Yes, you didn't think I could beat Ayala? Is that what you're saying, Coach?
I mean, no, it's funny because everyone's high and tight on this Gabe Arnold thing, and we're going to get into the Gabe Arnold.
No, I'm going to call it. I don't care if it's Penn State or if it's Tom or whoever it is, or if it's David Teller down there. If you're going to sit somebody, let at least a small podcast like BEG have the guts to call it out, and I'm calling it out. We don't know. You know what? Maybe Braden Davis has a kind of new injury. I don't know what you're talking about over there, big boy. Why don't you just shut up? Because you don't know nothing.
He might have an injury.
You're right. I don't know nothing. I'm just giving the speculation of both. What if he wasn't that hurt. And we'll see if he goes next match.
It's an interesting choice. He didn't wrestle, and no one mentioned that in social
I can't
media.
believe
So
I
I
just
brought
said
that up,
that.
and you did too. So that's fair criticism. We're fair, and we're not fans of anyone technically, right? We're just fair.
I don't know.
That's what we are. We're the fair podcast. That's what I say. I mean, that's my approach.
I just talked up against Kale and Penn State. Man, this is.
Well, let's go, dude. You got plenty of compliments coming. Because here, let's talk about 141. It was Bo Bartlett.
Okay.
And as we predicted, it would have came down the wire, and it was actually just a regular decision up against Colin Shriver.
Yes.
Pretty much what we were
Some more heat coming Penn State's way. Because, Zach, what did you think as you watched Bo Bartlett?
Boring Bo. Here we go.
Dude, Bo! This is your last year.
Just a lot of
you have
words
speed.
that
You have one of the most athletic wrestlers in all of D1 wrestling.
Obviously.
And you're out there. It's like, I'm not sure. I better not shoot yet. Come on, dude.
Sponsors. He's got Armani sponsors. He's doing backflips, and yet he goes out there and wrestles, and it's like,
this is the episode. They'll say this was the downfall of BEG. This is when they jumped the shark. This episode,
I think it's pretty fair.
Yeah, it was that Iowa.
Quite frankly, because I mean, in a match like this, let's say it did actually come down to the wire, and you needed Bo to get bonus points, and he didn't. Like, then it actually would have mattered, and then we actually would be really criticizing Bo if that had happened.
But the truth is,
so much padding.
Yeah, he always gets it done. Now even last year at the national championships finals, really everything was one final step: get the man onto the mat without him doing some sort of funky.
And I guess if that's what he does up against Mendez, I mean, I don't know if you saw Mendez. He looked good today.
Yeah,
but
some funky Granby roll.
I guess if that's what it comes down to with Mendez is like 30 seconds left in the third, and it's tied match. That's a win, I guess, if you're Bo, right?
And he's like last week. I mean, Hardy is really looking good here late. Somehow, Bo gets the win over Hardy. And I heard Christian Powell's talking about this, and it's absolutely true in the sense that the number of times Bo has lost is so small. And, I mean, somehow the number of wins he's had that's been very close and came down to the end and been overtime wins. And it's like he just keeps doing it. So I got to give credit where credit's due.
Kansas City Chiefs this year in football.
The thing is, though, is when you have that, you just think, why? Is it boring to you unless it's coming down on the wire?
That's just a style. Don't hate on the style. Anyway, there we go. He won.
Okay.
Shriver. Okay.
Man, it's a good thing this is live, because if this was recorded, I'd probably make you just cut that
I know.
last 20 minutes out.
A lot of times you say that, and then I don't actually cut it.
I know.
But all right, now we get into the heat, baby.
Okay.
It gets hot.
Okay.
It gets hot in the kitchen, folks. At 149, It was Van Ness Parco. Yeah. And, folks, it was 50-50 there, and it was Van Ness who ended up dominating. And when I say dominating, by the end of that match, I'm telling you, he was physically beating up Parco by the end. He didn't care about points. Did you see how he had that leg wrapped up there? He was just physically beating up Parco to make a point at the end of that match. He didn't he didn't care about getting back points. He just wanted to beat him up. And I thought, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Van Ness showed up.
Oh, there's no doubt. And boy, did that hit the spot, because Parco had it 4-4 going into the second period.
Yeah.
And in all seriousness, I was thinking, man, I'm already gray, so this isn't going to make me gray. Maybe it'll make me bald. I don't know, but this is just going to be a stress-filled night. And I tell you, Van Ness is fun to watch. He is fun to watch. And I
was thoroughly impressed with Van Ness. And
I can only imagine Tom.
I picked Parco, but go ahead.
You had a little taste of how angry Tom was after the match.
I have that. I'll show it. It was credit the flow. We'll show that brief presser later. I want to hold it for the Angelo Carter match. But
one of the things that just had to tick him off was, we talked during the preview, and we talked at the last live episode about, make it so that guy never wants to wrestle you again because of the effort you gave. And you literally seen him break and give up. His spirit, you broke his spirit.
Because as you mentioned, it was 4-4. And I had picked Parko to win this match. I was really pulling for Parko. And, Van Ness
literally
broke him. You saw him get broke.
The spirit get broke. And
you heard Jeff Byers' call.
Yeah.
If you listen to Jeff Byers call that match, he says Parko's just not moving on the bottom. He should be getting called for stalling at the end of that match because he was broke.
Oh, he was broke.
I hate to say that, but that's just what I saw. Dude.
And that's got to be tough, and we're going to be talking about another one that's kind of saying the same thing here in 2 matches. But, that's the third time now he's taken a kind of a pounding from and by the way, let me remind you, it wasn't very long ago, it was just a couple weeks ago, Parko said, everyone in the country knows I'm the best 141 pounder in the country, or 149 pounder in the country. And I thought, whoa, which that's okay. We like talk, right?
Well, clearly that's tolerated out of Iowa, as we've been looking into.
Well,
but Parker's got some work to do, dude. Because that was something. And Van Ness is.
Well, if you remember, it was how many episodes ago? I took offense to that. I commented about that on that week's podcast. I thought, whoa,
you got your feelings hurt.
What? Yeah, I got my feelings hurt.
Got all loving your feelings, dude. But my goodness, so that kind of set the tone, dude, because that was the first match of the big ones, okay, in this run. And so you're thinking, oh my goodness, dude, Van Ness, this Penn State crowd is rocking, and that really takes us to 157, Kazak and Teamer, and I thought for sure, and I even thought kind of even relatively late in this match for sure, that Teamer, this was his style match. This was going the way he wanted to go. And because it was kind of his pace, right? It was a little slower, and then all of a sudden, dude, we get one of the most, and I got to show it, folks, one of the most, if not maybe the most legendary photo I've ever seen, dude.
Look at that.
In college wrestling to end the duel meet.
Wow, I didn't even see that.
He holds on to him.
Wow.
As the clock expires,
oh
he's
my goodness,
holding Ja'Cory Teemer in the air. I've never seen a big dog move before in my life. That is it.
Daddy's got baby.
Oh my goodness. He's literally holding him like a baby to end the match. And oh my. That is legendary photo. In fact, I posted on Twitter immediately. I hope someone has that photo. And I got to give credit to, you can see a small corner, whoever that is.
Wow.
That's
part of all the
incredible photo.
At the start, and I got something to say about this match, but at the start I was there doing a little bragging about my little matness results and stuff, and even throwing out a little challenge there. This whole thing, if me and you can continue to be this annoying, in a way, aren't we helping Madness? Because we're going to have people coming just to beat either you or beat me.
I'm telling you right now, that
obviously it'll be a lot harder.
I will fulfill my ag compliment. I will fulfill my ag commitment, and I will have other challenges coming out, dude. I will have other challenges coming out.
Madness, we got some new customers coming because they're just chomping at the beat.
I'm gonna make some big time challenges to people.
I
wish Bosch would have responded to me, but they didn't. They didn't ever give us a response. They're high class over there. Dude. They don't want to get down in the mud pit with us. You know what I mean? Don't get in the mud pit with.
I do expect to see Christian Piles back in.
I hope
to see. He won 3 big ones in a row, and then he's gone.
I don't blame him.
He's gone.
I might have done the same thing, dude. But it was Kazak, dude. You want to talk about this match? Break down this match at all? Because really, Kazak is now officially, is he at Shapiro level? But it clearly.
Well, here's the question: who should be seated first? And this is a biggie because they're going to have whether it's Shapiro or Kazak. It's the other guy's going to have to face Teamer in the semis. Right?
Doesn't look like that's going to be a problem if it's Kazak.
Yeah, Shapiro has a loss. I know it's an injury loss or whatever. He took that concussion. He got a loss. I heard Flo kind of making the point that I can see Kazak going to number 1. Well, he just beat number 1, so this isn't a real stretch here. And by the way, I can't say enough about Kazak, about how I love how that kid wrestles, and I don't personally. I'm going to just say it right here. I fully expect Shapiro to win the title, but if there's anybody that can do it. Now, this is healthy. Anybody in injuries or anything, that's out of the equation. Everyone's healthy. There's only one guy that could put a scare and possibly steal it away, and that is Kazak.
Kazak looked great. And, I will say this, though. Ja'Cory Teamer, fresh off that injury, so maybe, and, get a match under your belt, regroup, get some more stamina, because probably was not 100% fatigue level. You know what I mean? And maybe that could have been a difference.
That's
I don't
true.
know, but Kazak with
one
of the most iconic moments in Penn State wrestling history, quite frankly, with that moment. And, I mean, that is something else, dude.
The part that Iowa fans have to feel terrible about is, do they think a Parko could ever beat a Van Ness? Do they think a Teamer could ever beat a Kazak?
Yes and yes.
To me,
that environment, they were that was a hostile environment they were at. And I said it once, I'll say it again. Give Penn State credit. That was a hostile environment, man. They were hyped up.
Yeah, and that's a stupid statement because things can go your way, and we got a whole brand new match here. So they can.
But Shapiro is different level, and I'm not sure Kazak is there yet. But Kazak. Now he's got us all asking that question. He's got us all asking that question right now.
Wow, Kazak is
that was something else.
Let's not forget Kazak 10-1. Love it.
Could you imagine if we had matches like that going like twice a week in college wrestling? Boy, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah,
like that would. Wow. But
I mean, what Kazak has done since that opening loss at last year's Nationals is, quite frankly, it's kind of astounding. And I know he went training at the M2 under David Teller and all that stuff. And obviously the kid has talent galore and he's been coached by the best. But we're talking about something above all this. Like, he's taking it to another level, and maybe that credit goes to the Penn State coaching staff. Most of the credit probably goes to Kazak himself and his family. I mean, there's so many things that can factor, but the kid's head is obviously where it needs to be.
Yeah, and it was even actually wrapped up at the end of that match, too. So, even more of an iconic moment
Which
for that
made
photo.
it even better. It was even a more cool picture. How does that not turn into posters?
I'm sure it will.
All over the place.
I'm sure it will.
But at this point, I'm so giddy that
I want to see that
this is the golden night
match
that I dreamed about. And I just can't believe this is...
I really hope Kazak stays it, too, because I do want to see the rematch with Teamer fresh and hopefully, 100% stamina.
Yeah.
And the semis, and I would then want to see inevitably who I would think to be at this point Kazak and Shapiro in the finals. Those are the matches I want to see.
That's me too. And that's not saying that Teamer can't do it. Obviously he can, but everything's got to go his way. And I tell you,
Okay. Enough of that. You done with the Kazak? Let's go on to the next one. It was Messenbrink and Caliendo, and oh my goodness, dude. I've really been fighting hard to say that there is a chance that Messenbrink loses this year, but with what he just did, I think Pat Minio posted a gas station pic, and it was like the Messenbrink gas station, like unlimited fills. He is on a different level, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that was crazy.
Yeah. And here's the thing. If he continues this, now we just seen him tech the number 2 wrestler. If he continues this and they start giving Hodges out to Stevensons over here and that, dude, I'm going to throw up because this right now, do I think Stevenson will tech the second ranked guy?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. He's never done it before. He's never. In fact, there's been some close matches.
I just watched him in the match he lost to Anthony Cassar. He looks like half the man that he is now. But anyway, okay, go ahead. Finish your point.
Well, we'll see. But
you don't see Messenbrink losing.
Well, first off,
winning by anything.
Don't
less
ever
than a
share it again, please. I'm complete with the Askren on this. No sharing of the Hodge. Enough.
Oh, that is so stupid.
Yeah.
Dude. What is this?
The year they shared it with Spencer and Stevenson. Look, make a choice. And I wasn't wild about that year anyway, because one of them years that Stevenson got the Hodge, he didn't even have that many matches. And that's got to be in the equation. But I tell you right now, Messenbrink is, it's not even close. How about
if you look forward for Messenbrink, like, who did he lose to in the finals last year? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Carr. Yeah.
David Carr. And, boy, and that was fit. That came down to the very end. If you look forward for Messenbrink, obviously we do not foresee him losing a match this year, or likely the next 3 years. He's one match away. That Carr match from potentially being a 4-timer, and then nowadays possibly a 5-timer, 6, who knows? But my goodness, the implications of that Carr match, if we really look back, and I mean, I'm not surprised because what he did against Jordan Burroughs in those Olympic trials. I mean, that was man for man in that match. And
all I know is I've not seen such, the old term that Flo uses, next subject. This is beyond next subject.
All I know, I think I could make that weight class.
How can Messenbrink not be the top pick in someone's draft?
I'm not even gonna argue on that anymore. But I would say I think I could make that weight class, and that might be one man. I don't think I want to run into him in the back alleys anytime soon.
Yeah, the two. Why I'm going to make the case that Messenbrink absolutely is the top pick is you cannot deny that Hendrickson has gotten better, and you also cannot deny that every time they wrestled, Kirkleviet has kept it somewhat close with Stevenson. It's been a regular decision before. I think it's been a major before, but it was no tech. It wasn't even remotely close to a tech, and maybe it will be this year. But I have question marks about can Stevenson go tech a Hendrickson or a Kirkleviet.
Well, I can't.
I have no questions as far as Messenbrink.
Not anymore.
So there's your number one pick
anymore,
and probably who should end up with Hodge.
All right, let's go. Let's talk about 174. It was Levi and the BEG Wrestling Dog of the Year, Patrick Kennedy, but ultimately Levi 10-3.
Yeah, 2-match losing streak, Kennedy.
Tough fought match. I mean,
yeah,
it was not anything crazy happened though, right? What was your takeaway there?
Levi's speed, once he decided to go, he kind of set it up, and he's patient. Levi is very smart how he wrestles, and there's times where I'm on the brink of saying this is starting to look a little Bartlett-ish. A lot of nothing, but then with Levi, when he sets it up and goes, and then he's so good at finishing that. Obviously, even the announcers talked about it. Maybe one of the best finishers in all college. Once he gets in, quite frankly, I'll never forget the O'Toole loss. He was in once there, which I got to give it credit to O'Toole.
Yeah.
That was the one time in a long time I remember where he actually didn't finish. He was in deep enough and didn't finish, and I got to give the credit to O'Toole there. But, that weight class and them three, and I'm talking O'Toole, and I'm talking Levi, and I'm talking Hamidi. Mm-hmm. Levi is going to have to repeat as champion. He's got a tough task because he's going to have to go through both of them.
Yes.
Maybe I'm wrong, but in most cases, we have Levi going to be in the semis with one of them.
Yeah. No. And really, this was just kind of like another day at work for Levi, is the way I saw it. Kennedy, good, but as you talked about last episode, we don't really see him ever rising above that 5 spot. And Levi did his job, let's say. right?
Yeah.
And more to come.
Kennedy showed kind of what we said in the preview. Kennedy's gonna if he would go, which we don't think he'll go. We think ultimately, if Nelson Brands actually heals up, we're gonna see Nelson Brands go for Iowa. That's my thoughts.
Which we predicted it was Nelson Brands, which does this mean that injury is still prolonged, right? Because
yeah, which makes you think, is this injury, maybe that's not.
A little more serious. Maybe it is.
And we asked Terry about, could he medical shirt and maybe come back next year? And we all kind of chuckled.
Maybe.
Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he?
You might as well now.
Yeah, but.
Get back on the horse, Nelson.
But Kennedy's going to be back next year also. But Kennedy is right there. It's like he doesn't have that last little bit of natural athletic ability to get over the edge. He's obviously very tough. Everything that we've talked about, he's 100% dog, all that stuff. That is Kennedy to the core.
But Levi's is just that straight up country boy strength. I mean,
Levi's shot in there to me is just substantially quicker than like a Kennedy.
You keep mentioning speed, and I keep mentioning strength, and really, it's probably both. Yeah,
both.
But, all right, you ready? You ready to do this, dude? You ready to talk about 184, man? Because really, dude, this is the match we really want to talk about, folks. And before we even talk about it, all right, I got to show you a little behind the scenes, daggone, because a little short video here of Gabe Arnold right before the match happened on Twitter, X. Here, I'm going to show you, folks, Gabe Arnold here right before the match happened. And what happened? All right, so that was it, dude. I don't know if you saw it. Gabe Arnold, basically, he had to be escorted out of the arena. He was so worked up. He had the pre-match comments. It was his head. Carter's head was hit. What was that? Terry Brands escorting him out of the arena.
It was Terry Brands.
Before the match even started.
Escorting Gabe Arnold out while Angelo was running up to wrestle the match. Now, the very first thing... And we had a lot of there's a whole lot to say here. But the very first speculation was someone from the crowd is probably getting nasty, ugly towards Gabe Arnold.
Wouldn't be the first time Penn State crowd did that, right? We don't know why, technically. But
you would say that is most likely the logical explanation.
Yeah.
If we're going to sit here and speculate, but the underlying thing is Tom probably in the post-match presser, knowing that Terry walked him out. You know, everybody in the world now has a phone filming this. You know this is going to be on the internet. You know all kinds of speculation is going to go. Why wouldn't you address that in the, oh, by the way, folks, this be Tom. By the way, Terry escorted Gabe out. We were a little concerned about his safety. Some unruly fans. In fact, he could have kind of blasted Penn State a little bit if that was the case, which I suspect that was the case.
That.
Yeah, we took him out for his own safety because the fans, because of what he talked about, and you got the fans and they're close, and maybe they fired Gabe up. Maybe Gabe was saying some stuff back. We don't know.
But all speculation.
Ultimately, for his own safety, Terry came and got him out of there before anything erupted, anybody got hurt. Most likely, that's what happened.
We don't know, but while you're on that post-match interview, and my hat off to Tom for not throwing any Penn State fans under the bus, if that was the case. But he did, in fact, give us a much better response. And I'm going to show you just a very short 1 minute and credit to Flo. This is Flo interview, so credit to Flo for this very short interview. But this was Tom Brand's response post-match, folks.
Overall, you pleased with the fight and the effort your guys had?
Next question. Are you serious?
lost a couple matches where you were rated higher. What did you see, especially at 49 and 57?
You got to be ready to go, and you got to be ready to go when things don't go your way. You got to be ready to go if things aren't going your way, and then all of a sudden there's a shift. We did not handle those shifts very well.
What was the thought process at 184 tonight, Coach? And put
Thought process is in place. The rule, you get 5 dates. We're going to use them for Ferrari. We're going to use them. And we're not going to use them against cupcakes. And we got to load manage Gabe Arnold. That's a term in the NBA people don't like. Gabe Arnold, we need to make sure that he's feeling pretty doggone good down this stretch. He's going to be our guy at 84.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it looked like in the third period that Penn State carried the action and scored the last points. Is that what you saw?
I saw that, and I saw Penn State score the first points.
How do you guys get better from this?
You have to put your head down, you go to work, you keep things in perspective, and we got Maryland on Sunday, and that's where it starts.
Okay.
Oh, he was fuming.
Do you want to give him the award now for 2025 most entertaining coach, or should we wait till the end of the year? Hot dog,
dude. That and why? How many times have we said over this podcast's history how important the brands are to college wrestling? Because that's gold. That's gold.
What was the thought process? The thought process is in place.
Well,
is that what that might have been the funniest thing I've ever heard. Like,
well, the thing is
you might as well have said, "Do you think we're not thinking over here? Are you serious?" Next question.
You know, that whole thing with walking Arnold out, like, okay, we're already kind of trying to figure out, speculating. That's very intriguing. I mean, what? Why?
There are a
what?
lot of questions.
Why? Yeah, a lot of. I'd like to know what's going on there. But then you look deeper into this, and the whole thing of having Angelo wrestle, it leads to more speculation. Like, he's good for wrestling because he feeds us being able to speculate about stuff. And this is what us wrestling fans like to do in between matches. We like to sit and talk and speculate.
Yes.
And he's so vague and so non-transparent that we have nothing left to do but speculate. But my take is, you know, by saying that Angelo's going to go and he's going against the toughest of the tough out there, in a way, aren't you kind of hurting? Same thing back to what I was saying about Braden Davis.
Okay.
You're kind of hurting his
Gabe, but now
you're not showing that you have faith.
Now,
Gabe
you could take
can
that
go
angle.
beat Carter.
You could take that angle, but we also talked about in our preview show how if you really laid out the facts, and I saw another podcast saying it didn't make any sense for Angelo to wrestle, but I laid out the facts and it made only sense for Angelo to wrestle this match. And really, as a fan, we also got the best of both worlds here.
Yes, we
got the match we wanted,
Yep,
and now we're
yep.
also gonna inevitably, if it comes
Get
to it,
the other
get
match
the
too.
other match again.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yep.
But when it came to this match,
I'm thrilled how it all went down. But yeah, the thing, will that help Gabe Arnold, the person? You have to have some question marks. That obviously, I mean, put yourself in Gabe Arnold's shoes.
well,
What am I thinking?
Or state of mind right now? What's his state of mind right now?
Coach?
Is really what I'm asking. What's his state of mind right now? He made that post. He wanted Carter's head, so clearly he fully expected he was going to wrestle that match. Then he doesn't. He's so angry. He gets escorted out of the. Is he mad at Tom? Is it a bluff? Is there some controversy behind the scenes? I don't know. I'm worried about what his headspace is at right now. But
something tells me they knew it was going to be Angelo. They already had Angelo's matches picked out.
They at the weigh-ins, right? Gabe didn't even weigh in.
No.
So
which means they already had the matches. Okay, we're going to send Ferrari out against this match and this match. But so far, they've sent Ferrari out again in very difficult situations. And
I love that,
that's
though.
why I predict. I don't know if McAnally, but I actually predict it'll be Plott because I think Iowa has a little breathing room against Minnesota, whereas Oklahoma State, it's going to be close. They're going to need, and all this what it does is you can't tell me this isn't a negative effect on Gabe Arnold, because this is kind of saying to people, this is my best wrestler. That's why I'm getting him out every time we are in a very close situation.
We don't know what happens in the practice room, but I will say this. I think it's pretty common public perception right now that that's what's happening. It's public perception right now that Angelo is the best in the room. However, Tom in that interview made it very, very clear Gabe is the guy. And, you know, I don't necessarily disagree
because
with
it
that.
makes sense that we're redshirting Angelo. That only makes sense.
Yeah.
But here you could say, well, okay, there, trucker boy, how we fix this situation? I would say, in my opinion, is you show I have faith in Gabe Arnold, I'm sending him out against Carter. I also have faith in Angelo. We're going to use all 5 dates for very effective purposes, and maybe have Angelo against a McAnally and a Plot. But at some point, you got to show.
Send him out against Carter, baby. Come on. We got what we wanted, and you're sitting over here critiquing. Yeah. Let's talk about Angelo. Let's talk about this actual match, because here, let me remind folks, dude. Let me put up again. It's been 45 minutes.
Yes.
We had all the criticism we got.
And that was just a taste.
And that was just a taste.
It's much deeper than that.
Yeah.
The criticism that me and you actually
saying
hinted
Angelo
around.
has a chance.
That Angelo's in the same realm as
Carter.
As Carter and Keckeisen.
People unsubscribing, calling us Looney Tunes, and then all of a sudden, dude, who's the smartest guys in the room now, right?
Well,
maybe us.
There's one thing to be in the same realm. It's another thing to have that last little bit to get over the top. We've seen some 2-to-1. Let's take away that stalling point that they gave Carter, which you can make that case, and I
didn't love that stalling call.
It wasn't wild about that. It's still 2-to-1. You could say that was one of the more lopsided 2-to-1 wins, because at no point was I really threatened, oh my goodness, Angelo's about to score on him. I never hit that. Did you hit that?
He had his hands clenched once.
Yeah, but I mean, what you can start to sense and smell, this could get ugly. He might score here.
Let me tell you.
I never got to that point.
Oh, look, Angelo watching live, baby. Oh, he's laughing.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it because he's here.
No, I'm not sugarcoating nothing because he's here. I'm going to tell him about this. Let me tell you what happened right off the bat, dude. Carter got him with just straight up experience. And I actually did some math here, folks. Let me bring this up here because did some research. Angelo Ferrari, born June 9th, 2005. Angelo's officially 19 years old, okay? Carter was born February 8th, 2001. So he's 23, and if we waited a couple hours to do this podcast, he would be 24, right?
Wow.
Okay, so that is like a 5-year age difference. And by the way, what's your birthday?
Why does that matter?
It's
anyway,
like today or tomorrow.
No.
Time out. It is your birthday. We'll get into that.
No,
again.
it's
But
not
anyway,
today.
let me put
By
my
the way.
point. Let me put my no. Hold on. I did research, dude. Let me finish this. Anyway, Angelo, 19 years old. Carter, basically 24. You know, what is the age limit to vote? 18. Angelo just became able to even vote. No, he can't. You got to be 21 to rent a car. Can Angelo go out to a bar and drink alcohol? No. No, he can't, obviously. Could he join the military? 18. Okay, he just got eligible. And then consent to date, 16 to 18, depending on state. So if like you had a daughter or a son or vice versa, and one was 24 and one was 19, they're just barely able to even start dating.
Okay, you made your point.
Okay, all right.
How long is this list?
That's it.
Because I think the audience just left. Okay, here, look. Angelo, as this match was coming down, first off, we were correct. He is in the same realm. There's no doubt. Because although I wasn't afraid on the edge of my seat, up, Angelo's about ready to score, wasn't there, but I knew Angelo could win this as the seconds were ticking off. He could take him down and win this as it was a scary situation to be in. Now, it's not the first time Carter's been in that situation, and you still have to close the deal. But first off, there's not a lot of guys that can get to that point, and only Angelo and Keckeisen are at that point right now.
Well, let me say this. First of all, I didn't even have a chance. I want to give Carter his props because Carter, he talks that talk. He came out. He walked that walk.
Yep.
And my match synopsis is this. Like, Carter knew he had a huge experience advantage on Angelo. I mean, dude, what I just mentioned. And he overwhelmed Angelo with that right off the bat. Like, just pushed. And you know what? Angelo, to Angelo's credit, adjusted. But, all of a sudden, we're just throwing real quick stalling calls out there, and and that made them. And the fact that Angelo, it was 3-1, but the fact that Angelo got a stalling point against him halfway into the first period, I thought, dude, if he needed everything to go his way, and that did not bode well for Angelo. But I will say this, dude. Angelo held his ground. Carter could not take, and Carter did not take Angelo down. In a way, I wish we had a rematch that we could watch of Angelo and Carter, because we talk about adjustments. You don't think Angelo would be making adjustments? He came out there very overwhelmed, and halfway through the first period, he caught his wind, and I'd like to see that match again. I would.
Okay, Carter and Angelo at the very beginning. Carter uses some high wrestling IQ.
Yep.
Notice, I can move him a little bit. Got him off to the edge and earned, rightfully so, that first stall. Okay.
It was hard to argue.
What we don't disagree, what we don't agree with was the second stall. I didn't totally agree there. So I don't think there should have been any stall points. Could Angelo easily adjust, knowing, nope, I can't let myself get pushed to the edge? And yeah, he can fix that like that.
And really, we did see what I got to give Carter credit on. Maybe I underestimated Carter's strength a little bit, because Angelo did have. I never would have guessed if Angelo had those hands locked, he was not going to be able to finish, and he could not finish against Carter. So credit to Carter's strength as well. But and even that riding time point, what was it? 1:07? Come on, dude.
Well, the thing
stalling point and a 1:07 riding time point.
Yeah, the thing that
victory
irked me a little bit was, we had Angelo on for 2 interviews, and that's why we're biased. That's why we're even pretending like he could hang with Carter. We had people on the internet saying this is going to be a major, might even be a tech. Dude, because he joined us on an interview, which we appreciated, had nothing to do with what I was predicting.
Well, we wouldn't have had him on for an interview if we didn't know he was a dog. Can I say that?
No, we wouldn't have.
Let's go.
Mentioned that he had a chance. You predicted he'd win, and I didn't call you wacko when you did, because we both, by watching him wrestle, realized, he's the real deal, and he is going to be a problem for a lot of people.
Cannot wait to watch him in the future. We predicted him as a 4-timer in the future before. I am now doubling down on that prediction.
Yeah.
Is that crazy? But Penn State's got a guy. Who's Penn State's guy we can see at that weight class?
It might be Ryder. It might be Ryder, unless
that'll be a good
Bard
match.
Would come down. But either way, that might be his main competition.
Zach Ryder.
But Ryder or Barr, and both of them are for real. So we're talking close matches. But as far as Angelo, I mean, if I got put into a coma and woke up 5 years from now, and someone said, hey, you know what, that turned out to be Angelo's only loss in college,
I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, I'm not that surprised.
And folks, for the way he and dude. Everything that happened prior to that match did not affect him at all. I mean, I was getting beat up. up to that point, and all the momentum, that arena was hyped in Penn State's favor. It did not affect. Gabe Arnold being escorted out as Angelo's taking the mat.
Well,
nothing affected his mental.
I just wish more transparency from Tom. At least tell us, hey, look, Gabe was getting a little mouthy over there. I decided I'm going to take him out. Just tell us. What's the big deal? Just tell us.
But
and we're with the injuries too. Of course, you got the whole HIPAA rules. You can't do that. And okay, I can understand.
Is that what it is?
But
All right.
It was like, well, I won't say that.
Yeah, we're live. No, that's here. Final thoughts on that? You want to move on? It was your boy Josh Barr losing, as you had actually predicted, to Stephen Buchanan.
Yes, and we're again talking about a matter of, what was it, 6 seconds? Or no, it was less than 6 seconds. It was probably turned out to be 3 or 4 seconds. The problem was Josh Barr is Buchanan, and credit to him, he got out before Barr was able to get that riding time under a minute.
Yep.
All of a sudden, the whole match
Changed
is different.
the match. I'll give
The
you
last takedown, you can take that and throw it out the window because Josh Barr is just diving in, which I admire. If you're going to lose, at least give me some effort. How many times we see somebody on their feet, you never even made a headlock attempt, nothing. I mean, you're going to lose. Do something, dude.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
Josh Barr kind of makes a desperate attempt, and Buchanan ends up getting that last takedown to make it 5-1. But basically what we were talking about is a couple seconds or this match goes into overtime. So what I originally said was Josh Barr will lose this, but will come back and beat Buchanan again or later. I stick by that.
That looks.
It ain't going to be
like
easy because Josh Barr.
Yeah.
Now that brings in a whole nother element, which is the whole AJ Ferrari talk, in the sense that I don't know if you noticed that, but he's been looking better too.
I have noticed that.
Knocking some rust off.
Also, he's got a new Toyota deal. Toyota NIL.
You know
deal.
I'm going to end
that?
up getting AJ in the fantasy draft. I'm picks 9 and 12. Nobody will have the guts to take.
Can you get him on the podcast? I'd like that too.
I'm having that because most likely that
No, I want
probably.
Angelo back soon. Let's talk about that match. But anyway.
Yeah, that was, and you know what? In a way, it saddens you to know we can't see this develop into a full-fledged rivalry. And if it does, it'll be freestyle. I'm talking about Angelo and Carter, because we're talking about that was impressive by both. And you can make the case for both guys. Well, this is two very impressive. That was an impressive low-scoring match.
Can I give a little bit of criticism to
Yeah.
BTN? Where were the post-match interviews? That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted to hear what Carter had to say after that match. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and
kind of missed on that, but
And also post-match questions.
well, yeah.
The questions
Interviews
to Tom
and-
right there. I know Tom's got this down. He's going to scare all the reporters, and they're not going to ask him any tough questions. That's the game plan. First off, right out of the gates, what kind of question is that? Well, there went my question about walking Gabe out. I'm not even. You want to ask? I'm not asking.
That's why that answer was so funny to me. It was like the synopsis of likely how he responds to almost basically every Iowa reporter question. What's the thought process? His response: the thought process is in place. It's basically insinuating, are you an idiot, dude? We got a plan over here, dude.
Yeah.
Ask me a better question.
Well,
But it's just funny.
oh, I know. By the way, we're coming to 285, and I want to say, I just salute Iowa and Penn State, because was that entertaining?
The
whole thing was real entertainment, and that's the stuff that grows this
It was
sport.
fireworks, dude.
No doubt. Now, Kirk Levitt, I was hard on him. I couldn't have been more impressed with Kirk Levitt. That is the Kirk Levitt that I thought, okay.
Yeah, it's almost like him and Lillendahl watched you.
Yeah,
last episode.
Kirk Levitt's got some speed of himself. He can move. I don't know what happened to him.
I walked past Kirk before. Like, got a chance to size him up.
Oh, really?
Hey, that man is a unit. Like,
Well, that reminds
like on
me
a
of
football field, he probably dominates Gable Stevenson.
when we
Can I
went
say
to
that?
Florida and seen Tay Gaudiali.
Yeah.
Dude, that dude's jacked.
Yeah, but
And-
Kirk's bigger than Tay, dude. Kirk is like
Tay
a
won't have to deal with Kirk
big
next year.
man.
Now, I don't know. I couldn't have been. Now, the thing with Ben Keeter, this is a tough position to put him in. And, we're back to speculating. And people hate when we speculate. A lot of people out there are saying, you know what, he's probably going to get discouraged and go back to football now.
Oh,
Tom Bear find the heavyweight.
Dude, Gabe Arnold getting walked out. Ben Keeter walking over the football team. Come on.
Daggone. If it's, well, I guess Beth wouldn't allow that. I said, maybe we can talk AJ, come back. We need a heavyweight, AJ. But, no, I'm just kidding. Keeter just beat Feldman, although something's broke there, isn't it? I noticed Feldman lost again today.
You know what? I missed that match. I had to go
he
upstairs
lost
and feed
to
Joe. I literally did. I had to go
Heinzelman.
upstairs. Daggone.
Yeah, he lost to Heinzelman, which that's no shocking thing.
Yeah.
Heinzelman's good. Don't get me wrong. But again, we're talking about the Feldman that the whole world is thinking
He's got a lot of
this is the
expectations.
next big thing. And with Keeter, it's also Keeter's going to get better and all that. It's just a matter of I think the shocking thing about Keeter is the lack of movement. Do you see that? He's looking like this guy's got some speed, and I mean, you talk about angles and movement on your feet. Like he's going to perplex the big guys.
Yeah, I think
they're just not going to be able to
that-
keep up with him. He does not use that. Zach?
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think it's fair to say we would expect him to utilize his speed more so than he does. Especially
No, he
like
doesn't.
Baby Brands just said, Kirk is 247. Keeter came in at 236. So clearly, your advantage. In fact, that's a little surprising, and that's only the difference.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, but even being said, your advantage still, with that being said, is your speed. We don't see Keeter really utilizing that speed to his advantage, but
Yeah.
overall, the overall social media takeaway, dude, is like Iowa is like wasting money, dude. What? They're spending all this money to do that? Are you kidding me? But
a friend of ours said, they probably put over $1 million in to lose by 22 points. Hey, Terry, I'm sorry if I caught you. I wanted at a bad time. I wanted to get your take on before we wrap this up.
Iowa Terry here,
Hawkeye Terry. First off, just go, Terry. What was your thoughts? You watched the duel.
Well, it was more disappointing last year from the perspective as, I almost expected it this year. Where last year it just revealed how far away we are. You just can't have weak weight classes against Penn State at all, and we're weak at 125 and 141. All in all, if Teamer would have won that match, and if Caliendo would have competed, I would have been okay with the duel as a whole. Because I thought Schriever competed well.
I did too.
I thought Kennedy competed as well as he could have. I predicted it would be a 7-8-ish match. It's exactly what it was. Buchanan got the win predominantly because of a ride drained him a little bit. Probably took the edge off a bar a little bit. But, those other weight classes, I didn't expect Parker to beat Van Ness. He was 2-2 against him. And to be honest with you, I was probably a little bit optimistic by even saying Cruz would only lose by a decision. Because he got teched last year against Bradley. He got teched last year against Drake. And, Lillendahl's kind of at that level.
Yes.
So, but I'm actually glad Tom decided to go with Schriever. I've just seen too much of Ryder block. His endurance is terrible at this point, and you need to shake it up. I would have probably went Jace Rhodes, but either Rhodes or Schriever.
How do you go about a Caliendo? Okay, now it's 4 in a row, and it seems like it's gotten a little worse each time. This one, of course, was a complete tech. And you like to think, you know what, I made ground. And you talk about demoralizing and rocking your confidence. Go ahead.
Is it 4 or 3? I thought this is the third one.
I think it's 4. I think it's.
Is it? Okay.
I think this is the 4th one. I think they went 3 times last year, and it was 12-6, and then it was.
I didn't think they went in the Nationals because I remember the first one he blew the doors off, and the second one was a major, but it was fairly wide. And you got to make progress. Like Kirk Fleet did with Cassiope. Cassiope majored Kirk Fleet at one point, and Kirk Fleet just kept narrowing the gap. And you knew, as an Iowa fan, you knew Kirk Fleet was going to get over the hump.
Yeah.
You're not seeing that from Caliendo, and that's the most demoralizing aspect of this, just like it was last year, is when you got your best guy, and he basically destroyed him. It almost looked like Caliendo. The wheels just fell off endurance-wise. I don't know. The pressure of Penn State just drains guys, because that's what happened to Parco too. Parco was in that match. He got in a bad situation, gave up backs, and then he's immediately gassed, and it was just over with.
Well, I sent a little video to Zach. It was a post-match interview with Messenbrink. And you probably, if I know you, Zach, you probably never even watched the whole thing. It probably bored you.
No, I actually did watch that one, but normally I
it
don't
was
read
the
your
perfect. It was. If you put Kale's whole philosophy into a interview, that's what this interview was. And he talked about how quickly everything's going to go by. Just want to have fun. Just want to stay present. And you're thinking about Caliendo and how does he pick his confidence off the ground. And first off, to stay in the present and not even worry about Messenbrink until it's time to worry about Messenbrink. Because up to that match, he's been having a great year, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, we're getting to that 184 match. And, of course, you seen the escort out by Terry. Did you not?
Yes, I was the one that sent it out.
Okay, okay. What's your take? Well, I'm like you guys. I watched the live feed, and you're clearly speculating that maybe it was crowd related, and I don't want to impugn the Penn State crowd, but that's probably a decent assumption, because clearly Gabe didn't weigh in, so he knew he wasn't going. So it wasn't like a surprise. And surely Tom would have told him in advance that he's not going. So, for that, just the timing of that, it would probably lead me to believe it was probably crowd related. Well, in a way, then be the right thing to be maybe in Kale. Let's say it was unruly fans. Well, isn't it time for the coach wasn't it just a year ago Penn State had some unruly fans with the Burrows and the whole nine? Isn't it time for Kale to make a statement to, them couple bad apples that are giving the whole
section over there,
giving the whole Penn State crowd a bad reputation?
Maybe the old man section
saying,
after you got fired up last week.
Yeah, and Kale saying in the presser, we had to escort one Iowa wrestler out because we were concerned for his safety. We can't have that. And, to kind of scold the couple of jerk-offs that need scolding.
Yes, shouldn't we expect Kale to do that?
But none of that. No word from Tom, no word from Kale, and we're left with nothing but me and you, Terry, sitting here on the phone speculating what in the world, why they walking them out.
Yeah. I wouldn't expect Tom to say anything. That looks too whiny, for Tom.
Yeah, he was in no mood to whine either.
But let's assume it was a crowd issue, and look, you don't want to excuse that, but by the same token, he wanted the attention. He got it.
Yeah, that's true.
He got exactly what he wanted.
That's kind of the way I look at it. If you don't want the attention, hang low. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be talking any crap to Penn State, period. Until you start drawing closer, I don't want to hear them.
Puffing up over there. Terry!
Yeah, but Terry,
Come on, Hawkeye, Terry!
Look what happened. I heard some people saying, well, what match are you looking forward to the most tonight? And they said right away, 184. Why is that? There was some talk and stuff going on. That absolutely brought eyeballs to this. Not that this duel needs a whole lot of eyeballs because everybody's coming to watch anyway, but I don't know, man. The whole thing, you mentioned something, Terry, that I never even thought of. And this could be, you talk about speculating. This is more speculating. What if Tom, Zach, wanted to have Arnold down at 74 for this match? Terry, you brought that up, and I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I think the weigh-ins are public. If knowledge on what your weights are, I don't know where to find those, but I did hear like Kurt Vliet was 246, and I think Keeter was 235 or something like that.
You heard it here.
So I don't know what Arnold's weights have been in these past matches, because there is a dissension rule where you can only cut so many pounds per week because of the issues they had with weight cutting a few years ago. But in the back of my mind, I said, I wonder, it's very odd that Arnold traveled and didn't weigh in. I'm just wondering, was the plan to possibly get him down to 174 and Angelo go 184, and he wasn't able to get there, so he didn't weigh him in, because if one guy misses weight, then you basically have to forfeit that weight.
Yeah.
It's just something that crossed my mind. Maybe it's completely out there, and it's foolish, but.
Wow, that's just very interesting, because it very well could have been.
I mean, Tom clearly has a plan. He said his thought process. It's being thought. So.
I mean, you used to see weight moves all the time back in the day. I remember Northern Iowa when I was there. They beat Iowa State by juggling the lineup all over the place.
Yeah, yes, I remember that. Yeah.
And he's done it again. He did it last year against Dresser.
Wasn't it Iowa State that did the juggling and they ended up winning? It worked out. Anyway.
He played Dresser last year.
Yeah, the thing is this whole thing with okay, we got one last date for Angelo. Who's your guess? Who is it? McAnally? Is it Plott? Who do you think he goes against?
Well, it's clearly one of those two. I'm thinking Plott.
I would think Plott.
I'm thinking Plott too, because that is going to be a close duel.
I mean, that's
going to be fire.
If I was Angelo, that's who I would want.
If you look at the matchups in Minnesota, that could be close.
Yes, I've heard that said before too.
Yeah, you don't want to sneaky lose to Minnesota. That could.
Because I can't believe I'm saying this. An old guy like me, I like having a talker. Saying Gabe Arnold is a talker. This sport needs him. We've got a lot of very polite little wrestlers out there. Yes, I'm doing the best. I just trying to have fun. And shut up. You're boring me. That's what you're doing. You're boring me. And then here comes Gabe Arnold, and he gives us some meat. And finally, I got something to chew on here.
He gives us a reason to tune in. That's for sure.
So I'm rooting for Gabe Arnold against McAnally. Gabe, take him and smoke him. Well, that's the wrong thing. What's the term? Yeah. Knock him off, Gabe. What's your thoughts, Terry?
Well, you could have had both if they would have wrestled Angelo unattached during the Soldier Salute. I still haven't figured out that decision, but I do like that Tom came out and just named Gabe the starter.
Yes.
And I think that was important, because you knew there was going to be noise out there and chatter about, what are they going to do? And I think I think you're getting close enough where you have to put that to bed, and I'm glad he did put that to bed.
Well, that's a very good point, Terry.
Yeah, I agree.
If he let that linger out there, that was certainly going to be an issue.
By the way,
you don't need to put that on your guys.
Gabe's got a tough one tomorrow.
Maryland?
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Jackson Smith?
Yeah, Jackson Smith.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, he moved down from 97. I think Glazier beat him last year, if I recall, but I was impressed with him 2 years ago in the Nationals.
That's at 2 o'clock, folks. You want to see I can't think. Is there any other very intriguing matchups in that.
I haven't looked at the lineups yet. I know Maryland's better than they've been.
Huh.
So
Austin saying
I've been
$50
kinda healing
Gabe
up
does
from
not
last
win
night. I
that
haven't
match.
looked
Austin,
forward yet.
man.
Austin, hey,
Wow.
Terry, one of our fans, Austin. I love Austin. $50, he says.
He's throwing some
Gabe
bones
does
out
not
there.
win that match. I'm assuming he's talking McAnally, but
Well, I thought we were talking Maryland.
Oh.
With Jackson Smith.
oh, I can't wait.
Tomorrow.
You know what? We're going to learn a lot about Gabe. Tomorrow's the day for Gabe to make a statement, and then maybe do some talking afterwards.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Terry, this is probably one of the less enjoyable times I called you. We're going to go, but we're going to be calling you back. I didn't give you much of a chance. You got anything else before we go?
I just want to get back to that Caliendo Messambring match. That reminded me of the Tom Brands Kendall Cross match years ago. Kendall Cross, number 2 in the country, future gold medalist, national champion, and Tom just put it to him and teched him. And that's what that reminded me of.
Yeah.
And pretty demoralizing, for Caliendo,
Is this goofy? Like Iowa has a Bonnie also, right? A psychological helper, or what do you call Bonnie, by the way, Zach?
that'd be
Psychologist?
Sports psychologist.
Sports psychologist.
Probably.
Iowa obviously has one of them, right?
It's probably
I don't know, but if they do, Caliendo better go see him.
that's the number one person I want to
Because-
do a live stream interview with. Me and Bonnie, live stream,
Yeah. Well-
solo in a room, locked in a room 1 hour.
If they're leaving the sports psychology to the Brands, maybe we're talking about a major misfire here, major screw up. Let's bring someone in that's going to actually do some help. Not
Well, clearly, Cale can't handle it. He's
instead of
delegating.
beating them
so-
down. You got to do your job over there. I'm just
By the
kidding.
way, we learned a lot in the last week, huh? Iowa goes against Ohio State, 7 out of 10, and then Iowa goes against Penn State, and Penn State gets 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, it just shows you the gap out there.
Yeah.
It's unreal right now.
Yeah.
And somebody put it up there on one of the live posts there, something I had already thought of and was going to bring up. Remember, Rachi beat Kasich last year.
Rachi
just
beat
think about
Kasich
that.
last year.
How much different,
Oh my goodness.
trajectory both of them are at
Wow.
this point.
Well,
and here's another one for you. Ryder Block and Kasich were about the same level of recruit coming out of high school.
Wow,
In
that's
fact,
true.
They
I know that.
Kasich beat him really close.
Yeah. Block was
and-
big news.
Wow.
Yeah. And the thing is, you hear that and it kind of puts. Now I gave credit. I kind of blasted Iowa. The few Iowa fans we had, we just drove them off. Terry won't go anywhere though. But they're doing some good over there. There's no doubt, right?
Oh, no question. But just like I said with that, that last statement is the gap is just huge right now,
Yeah.
and it's not just Iowa. I don't know if Oklahoma State in a couple of years can close the gap, but it's huge at this point.
Yeah.
It can't last forever.
I think about them Iowa guys, Terry, that left the team. It was a group of them, and I can't name one that looked like they improved from last year. They did better last year with Tom Brands, Terry Brands, and Iowa than what they're doing this year. I'm talking the Aiden Riggins, and I can keep going.
Drake Rhodes would be one exception. Drake Rhodes is having a pretty good year with South Dakota State.
Okay. Well, there
I think he was ranked, I don't know recently, but about 10 days ago he was ranked 11th or 8th or something in that range.
Wow.
So he's doing pretty well. And I thought he was undervalued. I liked him.
Yeah. Terry, as always, been good talking with you.
Heal up, Terry.
All right, man.
Heal up, Terry.
We'll be calling again.
All right, take care.
Later.
All right, that was Hawkeye Terry, folks, and
Yeah,
we're
Hawkeye Terry.
all in the ice baths out there in Des Moines.
Hey,
And
thank you,
final thoughts here. Give us
Wrestle
your final
Madness,
thoughts.
because you guys really just can you see my spirit?
Yeah, really.
Because you grabbed it and you lifted it up. That's what
Brought
you
that
did.
up.
And
You had to bring that up one more time, didn't
oh
you?
yes,
Oh, my
I did.
goodness.
165 people. Guess who was
I
number
won
one?
a Wrestle Madness the other week.
What?
I did.
What?
With
Was
the
there like
OGs.
12 or 13 in there?
I don't remember. I forgot to brag about it. I just remembered.
That's right.
I need to brag about that. Let me write that for next show.
I'm doing this to get people in. I want them to beat me. I say this to our fantasy league, our personal fantasy league. I want all other 9 guys
You're
to
being the
want to
Gabe
beat
Arnold.
me so bad they can't even sleep.
You're gonna be the Gabe.
That
Arnold.
is my goal.
You're the Gabe Arnold of media,
Yeah.
wrestling media. That's who you are, folks.
You guys, you can't handle this. Can you see the genius up here? You can't handle this. Come to
Wow!
Wrestle Madness.
Don't mess with the tiger in the jungle, folks.
The
You can poke him a couple times, but if you poke him one too many times, he gonna come bite you.
This has gotten
He gonna
corny.
come bite you, baby.
Corny in a hurry. Let's get out of here.
All right, folks, the BG Wrestling. Hey, like and subscribe, and until next time, we'll be back very soon. So that was it. See ya.